You're on the line. Welcome to Money on the Line, the show where we pick up the phone and unpack the hidden psychology behind your relationship with money. I'm Sage. If you've ever wondered why you do the things you do with money, why you overspend, why you can't save, why you feel guilty charging what you're worth, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and join our community because every week we go deep into the stories our minds tell us about money. This is Money on the Line.
Tonight, a call came in that stopped me in my tracks because the person on the other end asked a question I hear more than almost any other, and I think a lot of you are going to hear yourselves in it. So let me set the scene. It's late, the phone rings, and on the other end is a woman, early 30s, senior designer, clearing six figures, and she says, "I make good money, like really good money. I should be comfortable. But every month, by the time the 25th rolls around, my account is nearly empty. I'm not buying luxury bags or taking fancy trips. I just can't hold on to it, and I don't understand why." I want you to sit with that for a second. 6 figures. Empty account by the 25th. And the part that really got me, she said she doesn't even know where it goes. It's not reckless spending. It just vanishes. Have you ever felt that? Like money slips through your fingers no matter how hard you try to hold on? So I asked her, when money comes in, like on payday, what's the first thing you feel? And she said, relief, like I can breathe again. And then, almost immediately, this voice kicks in that says, you'd better spend it before it disappears. Spend it before it disappears. I want everyone listening to really sit with that phrase for a moment, because in money psychology, we call this a scarcity mindset. And here's what people get wrong about it. It's not about being irresponsible. It's not about being bad with numbers. It's about your nervous system believing that money is unsafe just sitting there, that it needs to be moved, used, given away, because keeping it feels like waiting for something bad to happen, like holding your breath. She told me that if she saves money, something will come along and take it anyway. So she spends it on her own terms because at least that way, she's the one who decided. It gives her a tiny sense of control in a situation that otherwise feels completely out of her hands. So I said to her, this pattern almost always has roots, not in your budgeting skills, in your story. Did you grow up with money being a source of stress? And then there's this long pause, and then she said, yeah, my dad lost his business when I was about 9. We went from comfortable to scrambling. And my mum would always say things like, enjoy it while it lasts whenever we got something nice. Like happiness was always temporary. Enjoy it while it lasts. In psychology, we call these money scripts, the unconscious beliefs about money that we absorb from our families growing up. They're not lessons someone sat down and taught you. They're the air you breathed, the background music of your childhood. Her mom wasn't being negative. She was protecting her daughter the only way she knew how. She had learned, through real pain, that good things don't stay. And she passed that belief along, not because she wanted to, but because that's what felt true to her. And now, decades later, here's this woman earning more than her mom ever did, still running that same program. Money comes in, and her 9-year-old self panics and says, use it now, it won't stay. Her mom's voice has become her voice. But there was another layer. She mentioned that she buys things for people at work. She picks up the tab. She orders food for everyone. And when I asked her about it, she said, I just like taking care of people. And I believe her. But I also asked, is it possible that giving money away feels safer than keeping it? That having a growing savings account makes you uncomfortable, not because you're generous, though I'm sure you are, but because having money feels like tempting fate, being selfish? And she went quiet and then she said, oh my God, I feel weird having savings. Like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm hoarding, or like if I have too much set aside, something bad will happen to balance it out. That's money guilt, and it's incredibly common. People who grew up with financial instability often develop a deep discomfort with having enough. Because in their experience, having enough meant someone else didn't, or that it was temporary, or that it was unfair. So they give money away, or spend it on others, or just don't keep it because keeping it feels wrong. Not logically wrong, emotionally wrong, in your bones wrong. So here's the full picture. We've got 3 things happening at once. A scarcity belief that money won't stay, so you spend it before it can leave. A guilt pattern around holding onto it, so you give it away. And a control strategy underneath all of it, spending on your own terms feels better than losing it to something you didn't choose. None of that is about discipline. None of that is about willpower. It's about safety. Your relationship with money was shaped before you ever had a paycheck, before you ever saw a budget app, before you ever earned a single dollar of your own. So what do you do about it? She asked me the same thing. She'd tried budgets, apps, separate accounts, nothing stuck. And I told her, because you've been treating the symptom, not the wound. Here's what I suggested, not as a quick fix, but as a beginning. First, start talking to your money. When your paycheck arrives, say out loud, "You're safe here, you don't have to leave." It sounds silly, but you're rewiring a belief that was installed decades ago. You have to speak to the part of you that doesn't understand spreadsheets, the part that only understands safety and danger. Second, create what I call a witness account. Not a savings account you'll feel guilty about, just a separate account where you move a small amount every month, even just $50. And then you watch it sit there. You don't touch it. You just let it exist. You're teaching your nervous system something it never learned. Money can stay. Nothing bad happens when money stays. Third, the deep one. Forgive yourself for not knowing. You didn't fail at saving. You were protecting yourself the only way you knew how. Your spending wasn't reckless. It was a survival strategy. Your giving wasn't weakness. It was a way to feel okay about having something. That's not failure. That's survival. And now you get to learn a new way, not by beating yourself up, by being curious instead of judgmental. To everyone listening, if you recognized yourself in this call, I want you to know your money story started long before you started earning, and you're allowed to rewrite it. Not with shame, not with another budget app, with understanding, with compassion, with the willingness to look at the wound instead of just treating the symptom. If this episode hit home, subscribe to Money on the Line so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have a money story you want to share, the line is always open. You can reach us through the channel. I'm Sage. This is Money on the Line. Take care of yourselves and your money. Good night.